minutes.
I thank the gentlelady for the time. You know, the American public needs to know that there's been a tremendous amount of discussion about Main Street, about credit for people to get student loans and car loans and home loans and all that, and talk about jobs. But those are all things I support. I think every member of this body supports. They recognize we have a deepening recession here in the United States. But the American public also needs to know that we're going to borrow $700 billion in their name for the bailout package, and not one penny of it goes to any of those issues. It is not aimed at the real economy of America. It is aimed solely at the froth on Wall Street, the speculators on Wall Street, the non-productive people on Wall Street, the certifiably smart masters of the universe like Secretary of the Treasury Henry Paulson, who created these financial weapons of mass destruction, and now as Secretary of the Treasury a week ago last Friday lit the fuse by protecting worldwide economic collapse if we didn't bail out those firms on Wall Street. I believe there's simpler answers. I just came from a meeting with William Isaacs. Now, he was the head of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. They deal with banks. Mr. Paulson was a speculator on Wall Street. He deals with speculation. He doesn't understand regulated banking. In fact, one of his first big moves 10 days ago was he said, guarantee all the money markets in an unlimited way. Know what that did? It took $12 billion in deposits from banks, and they moved over into money markets because bank deposits are limited in their insurance, and they pay lower rates of interest. He doesn't even understand this industry, but he understands Wall Street and speculators, and those are the people he grew up with and worked with and dines with and wines with, and those are the people he wants to help, in addition to the fact that there's a tremendous amount of pressure being put on by some very powerful creditors, and one of those happens to be the People's Republic of China, who owns a lot of this junk, and they want their money back or they're threatening us. Now, that's not a good reason to go ahead with this faulty proposal. It does not deal with the underlying crisis in housing. If we don't deal with the underlying crisis in housing, the foreclosures, the deteriorating values, when the values drop another 5 or 10%, and when that next big adjustment comes on March 1st, you're going to find there's another $1 trillion in junk securities out there, and we'll have already maxed out our credit, and people will have lost more jobs. The auto dealers are saying, people aren't buying cars. It's not because they can't get a loan. My credit union is giving out loans right now to anybody who's creditworthy to go buy cars. People don't have confidence that their job is going to be there. Their wages haven't increased. They're worried about the real economy, not the Wall Street economy. This is a problem, this disconnect in this body, and particularly in a Senate that's full of millionaires. That is not going to solve the underlying problem, what is being proposed here. There is a cheaper, low-cost, no-cost alternative. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation should declare an emergency. Mr. Isaacs just counseled us on this. It gives them extraordinary powers. They could use that to assess the same guarantee to all bank depositors, all people in banks, that they did with Wachovia, all general creditors. Not investors, but general creditors. He said that would immediately free up interbank lending. It would immediately bring a flood of foreign deposits into the U.S. because we would be a safe haven for banking and people's deposits. But he is a regulator with experience who piloted this country out of the savings and loan crisis and saved us a bunch of money. He's not a big-time Wall Street speculator who came down here and got appointed by George Bush with $750 million in his pocket from money he had made creating these financial weapons of mass destruction. So we're listening to the wrong guy here. And who believes George Bush? Does anybody in America believe him? Remember the last time there were weapons of mass destruction 1 month before an election and we got stampeded into a war? They're doing the same playbook here. Don't buy it. Step back. Take your time. Use all the no-cost emergency powers first, and if that doesn't work, then we can talk about some other big appropriation of money. But don't appropriate the money first and give it with unlimited powers to Mr. Paulson. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.